And I just wasn't paying attention, I guess, and all hell broke loose, man. All hell.
So there's an opening in the middle, and there's two pieces of angle iron, and then two 4-inch tube steel. You see, it just keep collecting it until it pushes it out the back, and then I'll just dump it wherever it pukes out. Like he's got one over this motor here to see. So I got my little sprocket, and I got that big sprocket that I got at the yard, and I also, and I did have extra chain laying around, and it's plenty long. So there's the track. It's not going to sit there. I think I'm going to just snapped my damn camera off the frog in the fan. I'm going to take these and weld them to the sides with the wheel here in the middle. You know, I gotta put a piece of wood on here in order to use the ladder on top of the scaffolding. Well, hey guys, how you doing? How you doing? Craig here on the Type Farm, where I have a whole bunch more metal, of course. And just to show you, this is regular 3-inch box steel, tube steel, whatever you call it. These two are the black steel. I don't know if that's iron or what. No, it's just whatever. And those are the C kind. So there's an opening in the middle. And there's two pieces of angle iron, and then two 4-inch tube steel. The 4-inch tube steel is going to be attached to the other two pieces of 4-inch tube steel out there, so I can work on the, gotta get that bridge done, man. And I can't leave that steel. I mean, right now I parked it under the tree because, you know, 5 minutes in the sun and it burns right through my little rubber gloves, man. It gets so hot. But I went over to the steel guy this morning because I had to figure out, you know, what is it that I'm gonna do? What is my solution for the track on my roof? As you saw in the last video, it's moving, but it needs that stability on the side, right? So what I've decided to do, I tried to be cost effective. There was this one piece of metal that I could have used for the track, but one, it was super heavy, and it probably would have messed up something up there, I don't know. And two, it was, you know, it was like, what was it, $25 a piece or something like that, 760 or something, I don't know. Anyway, it just seemed like, you know, nah. My original idea was to use this C metal because it had open slots, so I would just, you know, I'd turn it on its belly and have the opening at the top, and I run the wheel right through there, which is actually what I'm doing. But when I put, you know, different wheels in there, one of the issues was that the wheel axle point, and you'll see this later when I lay it out, I guess, but it was lower than the C itself, so it was down here, and that wasn't going to work. So I had to raise it up somehow, and I didn't want to weld a round bar down in there and not like that, but those nice steel round bars themselves are, you know, $25 or something, or whatever, $20. And anyway, so what I decided to do was use the C beam, and in the middle of the C beam lay an angle iron. So the angle iron is a perfect middle right down the beam, and I set the wheel on that, and the axle is right above it, so that's like even perfect. But what's even better, and again, what the hell did I do with my tripod? Anyway, so these are the wheels. They're definitely heavy duty. They're just like the ones on the top, although on the top I bought the whole system. These ones I just bought just the wheel. Again, and it's heavy, and I think that'll actually add to the stability. And then I bought the guides that hold it, or which are kind of like, you know, the system up there. Let me open this up. I'm trying to do this one hand because I ain't got my tripod. Damn it. One of these open. Yeah. No. Hold on a second. Yeah, so check this out. So it comes with like a nut and bolt for an axle, and then the two side plates, and these are pretty heavy duty. They're very good. But what I'm going to do is I'll hold this like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use I'm going to use one of my other old bolts that are smooth, not the threaded kind, and I'm just going to use that as a short axle, because I'm going to take this, and when I take this and I put it right up against here, which it normally goes anyway, and I put the axle through there, and what I plan on doing is, you know, is getting the axle through there just a little bit, and, you know, welding this. I'm gonna try and, what's turns here? Is that turn? Oh, the whole thing turns. Or maybe I can't weld it. Dang it! No, I was thinking, because with both of these on there, it fits right, but those drop down far enough too, where it fits right between those two C's also. So by the wheel itself, there's some play in the C, but with these two on there, it takes up that much more play, and then the play is just barely, which is the best. So the key is to try and, you know, try and do that so it doesn't get messed up. The axle being above it shouldn't be a problem, but it can't have the nuts, because the nut head is what hits the top of the thing if that's in there. So maybe what I have to do is, I'm just thinking about this now, is make an axle that goes beyond, like, you know, if the metal is a 3-inch, so if I make a 4-inch axle, I can go through there and then just like cotter pin it or whatever, and that way the axle can hang out over the sides so that it can spin. Matter of fact, actually, the bolt would do that, but I'd have to cotter pin it somewhere to make sure it doesn't, you know, move back and forth. But anyway, that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the C, the black metal C shape. I forget what that's called. There's a name for it. I can't follow all the damn names of all this construction equipment. You know, if I was in construction business, I'd be hiring guys that do it all, and each one of those guys would know what his stuff is, but he wouldn't know necessarily what another guy's stuff is, you know. So but me, I'm doing it all myself, right? So I have to know what everything is, or thereabouts. But so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay that up there now. I'm gonna get it into position up there and see, you know, where I gotta float it, because here on the sides with all those 2-inch rails coming out, sits on top, that's not gonna be a problem supporting it. And then maybe even the very end of this cement of the concrete, it has a 3-inch also coming out, so that'll probably support that. But that section over there is where I have to figure out about supporting it. So I bought a 3-inch, I probably just mentioned that, but I bought the 3-inch beam, like those beams, because I might wind up having to put a middle support beam in the middle of the black, you know, or just whatever, in the middle of the open space. I might have to put one support on either side, and it's like 3 meters, so the 6 meter, all these beams are 6 meters, all this metal. And you just cut it in half, put one on that side, one on that side, and that'll support maybe the weight as the track goes past. But ideally, you know, the idea is that there is no weight issue really, because I'm not supporting the whole roof with these 2 side rails. The 2 side rails are really just more for stability and guidance, because all the weight is on the very apex of the roof where those guides are holding the roof, right? So that whole framework up there is what's holding the roof as it floats on top. And then just so it doesn't go, like, you know, side to side or whatever, I put those wheels and the guides, make that happen. Try not to overthink it, because, you know, next thing you know, I got Fort Knox over there. Oh, hey, and then another news is my Social Security. I don't know if I shared this, but yeah, I got my back pay on my web. I don't know if I did, might have shared that. I got my back benefits that I was missing, you know, February, March. I already shared that in my final video there. But because of the web adjustment, and I think I also shared that my next month's payment will be my first full Social Security check under the web recall, under the Fairness Act. But, you know, they had to, it was retro for the year or whatever from last year, so they just deposited that extra money in my account. Thank you very much. And of course I promptly deposited it into my wife's account. Anyway, so that's my little 2 cents on some of that Social Security. I just wanted to share that I got my retro money, which was the difference for the past year. And now the wind's picking up again. It's supposed to be rainy, but now it's all blue sky and clouds, so I don't know how much of that we're gonna get. But before it gets blazing hot, I'm gonna see if I can't figure out how that metal track is gonna be made. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay it up on that. I'm gonna lay it up on the other side first, because it seems like this side I'm always worried it's gonna bounce off and fall in the water. And I gotta get in the water. I already got in the water today. I had to get in the water to go find the metal screen traps that my wife made. She made them for, I think she made them for the snails, but snails aren't really attaching to those. And those were actually ones we were using to put our plastic bottles in, so she wanted to put the bottles back, so I went in the water to get those. And what else? Oh yeah, well, when I lay those, I have to lay that metal down over there. I am gonna like weld that angle iron into the middle of that C bar. I am gonna just, I'm not gonna weld the whole thing. I'm just gonna spot weld it in different sections, enough to hold it. Yeah, man. But once I lay it up there, I'll know how much support I need to add to the open end over there. That'll be the, you know, I might actually have to just take some of this. Or no, that's right. I do have a couple sections or a couple pieces of 3-inch. I can probably just put them underneath and weld it, and that'll hold it. Something like that. All right, man. Enough yakking. Let me go over there and start hacking. Back at you. Auto side break here. We got the hay baler out. So he's just over there collecting it. And yeah, just takes it right off the top. So the rice guy cut it all. And then that guy just scoops it, drives over the top of it, and collects it all with the little monkey arms there. Collecting it. Just keep collecting it until it pushes it out the back, and then I'll just dump it wherever it pukes out. Like he's got one over there, another one over here, another one over here. Then he's gonna do that one too, and then over here too. So you can see how it sits on top. It all sits on the top, and then he just runs it over and collects what's off the top. That's the stuff that was spitting out. If you watched my other video of the guy doing the harvesting, I got right behind it and it was spitting it out. That's it, spits it out right there. That's rice hay. Pretty cool, huh? Not that difficult. All right, back to work. Yeah, well, it's already heating up. And I squatted down and stood up a couple times and got that heat rush. Danger, danger. But here, check it out. I did lay that down in the center. So the idea is I just need to weld that, but that's just, I put it outside there. I was gonna do it inside here because, you know, it's shade and it's cooler, but then I'd have to pull it all the way down there to get it out of this room in order to put it back over here like that. And I figure, well, I'll just weld it out here. Then I can just lift it straight up and put it on there. And it's not going to be that light either. You know, carrying the bar by itself, no problem. A little bit heavy. But now I got the angle iron in there with the bar, so twice as heavy. Then I got to do full court press, bench it up over. Well, not bench, but yeah, you know. Snatch and lift all the way to the top up here. And then I gotta see how level that is, right? I suppose if it's a little bit downhill, that's okay, because it'll be easier to open it, right? But it'll be the pulling back. And I was drawing last night. I was drawing about, you know, how am I gonna create the system to open and close it, you know. And I thought I'd do it just like a mini blind, you know, where you pull, you have a loop, right? It goes all the way out there and all the way back. So that's probably what I'll use. I don't want to put the, you know, the garage door motor on there yet. Speaking of motors, so I did put, if y'all remember from the previous video too, I did put this motor here to see. So I got my little sprocket, and I got that big sprocket that I got at the yard, and then I also, and I did have extra chain laying around, and it's plenty long enough. It's probably gonna be shorter than that, but it's the right one for this sprocket. I just got to get a master link for it, which I should be able to, because if that's a motorcycle chain, which I believe it is, I can just go buy a motorcycle master link. But I can't put the motor there like that unless I had different gear, another gear like that. So, and then when I turn it sideways, in order to get into the middle of this, that makes this thing top, you know, side heavy like that. So I'd have to get something of equal weight to put over there to balance that. That means the whole nose would be down. So I'm gonna have to figure that out, unless I, you know, I'm not sure how it'll spin, but if I move this to right up against here, that's about where the side of it is. If I put this in the middle for the weight, like turn it or whatever, if I turn it like here for the weight, and then the gear will be right here. I suppose it'd turn this just the same. Anyway, I was tinkering with that this morning. Right now I'm tinkering with this. It's hot, man. It's like noon right now, so I think I should wait before I start welding. Let me see. Oh man, that's right. Yeah, that's not welding weather. I should wait till it gets a little bit farther. Maybe I should go eat. What else was I doing? I don't know, man, but I want to get this. I really want to get this roof rolling. That made me feel a lot better. I get this roof rolling, I get the roof on there. If I get the roof, you know, done for the most part, other than painting and stuff like that, you know, then I can haul ass and start, you know, doing the render for the inside and figuring out the windows and all that stuff. And actually, speaking of windows, so last night I was doing all this. So the idea is that all this is supposed to be glass too, right? Now that would be some serious, that's expensive. I want to say, oh yeah, just make it all glass, you know. And this would probably be a double glass door with side glass, and that by itself is, I don't know, 8,000 or 10,000 probably. And then the top, you know, and then I actually wanted it to go out a little bit, so you had this glass box in the front, which would mean more metal this way and that and that and that and that and that. But so last night I was trying to think that out, you know, when I was drawing the pulley system. I was thinking about the overall design again, and I thought, I wonder if I could go source out like a whole bunch of used glass, right? A whole bunch of old windows, maybe bigger windows or different size windows or whatever, you know, larger but different size. And then instead of making it all uniform, make it this hodgepodge of different size windows that, you know, made the whole thing glass for whatever, half the price or a fourth of the price. You know what I mean? Some people are selling the window frames and just give you the glass. They don't care about the glass because it's old or whatever. But I know how to make old glass look new. I mean, you know, you can do that a lot. You can clean up good glass. Most glass that people have is old. It's just like oxidized and stuff. You can get rid of that. And from all the rain and this and that. But yeah, so I thought of, oh, maybe I should, or maybe I should find some color glass that's, you know, old color glass, and I could make it all kind of a hodgepodge of different colors out there. You know, or make it not even glass, just make it plexiglass. But I don't want to warp too bad. And plexiglass might warp. But I don't know how I get it up framed. So anyway, I'll figure it out. I'm gonna chill out for a little while. We'll get back at you. Well, the sun is going down. I could probably say that about me. We can see it through the trees over there. Pew, pew. Yeah. And my God, I did take a break, obviously, but all I did was go over to that. Oh, I didn't even eat lunch. Went over to the bench and laid down for about 15, 20. Had a Pepsi. But I welded and re-welded and re-welded, and then oh my God, I think I got it. But what I realized is that so remember, my pieces are 6 meters and the length of this is longer. It's like almost 7 meters, but I'm not putting the wheels, you know, end to end, right? When I have this roof here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm gonna put them like at 2 and 4, right? Kind of like in the middle. So that with that respect, I don't need to have the track end to end. I can make the track shorter. So basically just use the 6 meters. So that's what I've done down here. I don't know if you can see this, but so there's the track. It's not going to sit there. I think I'm going to move that one over to here because, like I said, I need it. The wheel will be here and over there, and if the wheel is here, I think this is enough room right here. That'll give me the other room on the other end. So the track is laid all the way to the end on that side, and the same over here. So I'm okay with it, but I gotta, what I have to do is I have to make sure I measure from track to track, you know, at the end and the middle and the other end, make sure the two tracks are aligned. I can just see me have them where they go pew.
it's all up. Because I'm gonna weld the track in place. Right? I wasn't running the camera, but yeah, so my umbrella here, it wasn't windy. I mean, it was earlier, but I was pushing the umbrella out of the way and it fell over here and it fell on my camera and it just snapped my damn camera off the tripod and snapped the tripod again because I've already broke that thing how many times already. But that's all as far I could get, man. I'm beat now. But I got the welding done and all that part of it anyway. So the next phase will be my chest here, all splatter from welding. I can feel it. It's all itchy from the little micro burns. Some of them went through my clothes. I should have worn my flannel and my pullover, cover my neck. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Anyway, yeah, the next thing I'm going to do is straighten out the rails, straighten out the tracks, get them in place, and then when I know exactly where the tracks are, then I'll take a level and I'll line up where I was going to cut that hangover bar so that I can put the wheel in there and all that. That's another whole day. It'll probably take me a whole day just to line up the track and to cut them bars even before I put the wheels on. But that's what I got. Ouch. I don't know if I'm gonna post this video. I think I might wait until I get that done. If I can do that tomorrow, if I'm not dead. My heel is still bruised or whatever from that tree fall, so it makes me walk funny. And then by putting this roof on the other day, up and down the ladder, and of course I'd taken the last 2 steps, skipping them and all that, my foot, I woke up and it was like, so now I walk funny with my left. I got a bum heel on my right. I'm freaking waddling around here. So hopefully all the up and down today won't have exacerbated it. Anyway, until we meet again, I'll get back at you. Hey, good morning guys, how you doing? Well, back at it with a few fun facts this morning. So in the previous video, the wind knocked over my fan over there, and then I thought it was bent or something because it was going, you know, making noise. I'm like, god dang it. So I straightened out the cage and everything, and then I got it going again or whatever, and it's still making noise. I was like, what in the, or no, it was like wobbling. That's right, it was wobbling, like really wobbling. What the hell? And then I missed the fact that I had broken the fan blade, one of them, when it fell. Anyway, so that was causing the major wobble, so I bought a new fan blade. And then this morning I turned the fan on over here, and I was working, I was pulling stuff off of the bench, and I had to this cable was tied up on this thing I did, whatever, I pulled it off. Anyway, when I swung it by, this part of the cable was a screw. It hit the fan, and I heard it go, whoa, you know. But then the fan started, you know, making noise again, and I thought, well, wait a minute. And so I turned the fan off and I looked, And sure enough, it took a little chip. I don't know if you can see this. It took a little chip out of the side right there, right? So it wobbled a little bit, but it wasn't too great. So I was like, that's all right. So I had it going. All of a sudden, I was getting over here doing something, and then I heard the fan. I'm like, what the hell, man? Did it mess up? And then I realized that no, it wasn't that. It was frog in the fan, which is probably a dead frog now. I don't think he would have survived that one. But that happened before too. I mean, I did get these are tree frogs. I did get a tree frog in there, but it just knocked it around and it was fine. But I think in this case, what happened was that little chip. Oh, as a matter of fact, you know what I just see now again? There's just another break in the fan. I don't know if it was because of that, but those are sharp edges, so chances are the frog got in the way and the fan just went whack, chopped him. But I gotta pull that frog out of there. But anyway, yeah, those tree frogs, they get everywhere. I had a big old one in the house. My wife was like, you know, cat was chasing it. Cat don't eat them, but you know, they'll chase them. But anyway, yeah, frogs, man. Get a lot of frogs around here. But I feel bad for that little guy. He didn't make it. Oh, speaking of which, more nature. We got more nature here on the farm. You remember my birds, right? And they both disappeared or whatever, right? Well, now I'm looking, and sure enough, that nest is rapidly becoming another nest. So probably the same bird. Bird thinks, oh man, hey, that was a good spot. My cat's over there. He's just watching because the birds go in the rice over there. Nature. Anyway, I am in the process of welding my side guides. So this will basically, I'm going to take these and weld them to the sides with the wheel here in the middle, and then those will be the ones that stand up, you know, weld them or screw them probably to the sides. Or actually no, I think I'm gonna have to weld that. I want it to be on that angle. Anyway, let me get that set up, do some welding first thing in the morning, and give the last rites to that frog. All right, back at you. Well, I don't know. I thought I'd take a moment because I work on it all morning. You know, I welded the footers to 4 feet with the wheel tracks, welded all that together, and the tracks, of course, were not perfectly lined. I kept having to make little adjustments and this and that and that and that, so I could get it as smooth as I wanted to, moving back and forth, which it was working, but it was binding up on a couple of places, and I kept trying to fix that, and then I looked over, and one of them had kind of jumped the track from inside and was, I think it was just, you know, bound between the middle track and the wall or whatever. And earlier, if you remember, I think I talked about
that the A-frame bars on top were like floating because they weren't welded to the crossbar, and thought that was a good idea because there's less friction. But after I got all 4 in place, everything was lined up and it was all looked like it was going to be flowing pretty smooth. And so I welded those bars, or I didn't weld the one that was farthest out, but I welded 4 of them at the apex, but I didn't put the gusset in there. And but anyway, in my quest for, you know, just get it done here at the end of the day or whatever, I lifted that thing up off the track, and I just wasn't paying attention, I guess, and all hell broke loose, man. All hell. Of course, right when I say that, my battery dies. And one thing's another. Anyway, I lifted it on the forward side, and the front wheel, 2 track wheels lifted up and came off. I think they came off on the other side of the track, and that teetered the whole thing this way more. And I was like, no, no, no. And I grabbed it and I tried to push it over this way. Then it teetered this way. And it came off the thing, and the rails were binding. And the one rail on that side went into the water. And the one on this side went off up here, but went all the way down because the rails, this was the last thing I was going to weld, because I wanted to get it straight with the wheels, right? Wanted to get the wheels to track where they wanted to go. And then once that was smooth, I go ahead and weld the track in place, in theory. But because I have already welded the whole cage together, basically, I just still do need to put a couple more crossbars, you know, for the tin that's going on there. But anyway, because it was a whole cage, and the whole cage came off the rail this way, and then off the rail this way, and then I got it back on this way a little bit. It's heavier than a bitch, and I'm not there yet. So before I got too careless, which is probably what that amounted to, I gotta have a Pepsi. Cola. And now I try to get in the middle, you know, I try to get up under the middle and go, you know, and I couldn't do it. It's too much steel. So, and now the wind's picking up great. So what I got up here, I got my ladder, and this is what I was talking about. The ladder is too, you know, it's not, you know, I gotta have to put a piece of wood on here in order to use the ladder on top of the scaffolding, because I need to get up there. Wind blowing. Because I need to, from this end, it's about the only place I can grab that and lift it with leverage to get it back on the track. If I can do that, I'm good. I put those pieces of wood in there because the track is, the nuts from the wheels are, you know, hitting. I can't lift it straight up because it hits the bottom of that, so I gave it some room out there, and that one looks like it's all right. But I figured I might as well video this last part. If I had the video going when all that was happening, I'm not even sure I would have showed that video. It was not good. I just kept saying no. No, 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 no. I'm like 40 times back. And then I got caught between the damn, when it, you can see how it's like crosshatch right while I was in there, and I was trying to load it, and it slid down. It pinched me between the 2 rungs, between crossbars and stuff. And whew, again, goes back to that do-yourself thing. My wife heard me. She's way over there, and she's all, "Do you need my help? You want me to help?" I was all, "No." She'd want to get hurt or something. Anyway, I'm gonna get up there and see if I can't do it, man. did it. Thank God. I gotta get up there and go and secure that thing again. But I don't think I'm not gonna put the tracks back on today. I'm gonna save that for tomorrow. All that stuff, saving it and pushing, I know that I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and every muscle in my back and my shoulders and all that stuff's gonna be all twisted. But damn, man. Oh, I gotta sit down. Oh, Lord. Well, at least, you know, it wouldn't, the whole thing wouldn't go over, you know, into the water or whatever, because it's trapped there somehow. But I do know that that the welds held pretty good. I didn't see any welds that broke, even on the A-frames at the top, and there was binding and all that stuff. None of my welds broke. So usually if something happened like that, a fresh weld winds up popping off. But man, it was like church bells, bing, 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 bing. Because remember the last one on the end here is not welded, right? So that one was floating, even though it's welded to the crossbar, wasn't welded up to the top. And it was like ding, 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 ding. Man, I wanted to get that done and get the tracks in place and have that thing done and roly-poly for this video, because this is like the third video section, I think, over 2 days that I've done to kind of capture all this. But I'm not gonna do it. I'll save that part. I'm gonna do it, obviously I'll try and do it tomorrow, but I'm gonna save that part, so make sure you stay tuned in for the final rolling track. Or maybe I'll just include the roofing with that one. But it does roll. And it was in originally when I just had the track sitting there, it was fine. It rolled just fine. So, all right, man. Well, again, thanks for watching, and keep watching for more death-defying action here on the Thai farm as I try and do things safely. I'm dying anyway, right? 67 this year. Hell, that's 80% of my life already over. Might as well daredevil the rest of that shit. And again, if you're a new subscriber, I'm gonna keep saying this because I just just busted over 4,000 on subscribers. It's amazing to me that, you know, that 4,000 people would even click subscribe. I know there's not 4,000 people that are watching my videos all the time because they love it. But the fact that you would click on subscribe, you know, so that you could probably go back to that channel and, you know, look at those other videos, go through my catalog. You know, that's kind of cool. I like it. And also, speaking of cool, that's right, I got a postcard from Mindy in Hawaii, a nice butterfly postcard, and where she talked about my previous Social Security video where I, you know, had the problem with my money and all that stuff, and she shared that she saw the video, and she also watches Dr. Weir, the guy who used to be the former #2 in Social Security. He's got the YouTube channel and just always has all the information. And that you know, she saw an episode of him, I think, that said he had his 1-800 number. That's one you want to call and make an attestation that you are, you know, who you are or whatever, so you can expedite the suspension off of there. Of course, I was already off suspension by the time the postcard got here, or there was a letter, like a postcard in a letter in a envelope. But anyway, it took I think it took 3 or 4 weeks to get here from Hawaii. So a lot happened between times she wrote it. But yeah, so thanks Bendy for sending that postcard. That's pretty cool. And thanks for subbing, keeping an update with all my stuff. I think I got a couple letters from subscribers. I know I got some mangoes and stuff. That's pretty cool. But yeah, man, I appreciate all the subscribers. It just amazes me. And when I sit down and I get a chance to think about it, and I'm thinking, you know, it actually shows you. You can look at who all your subscribers are. You know, most of them have just random names, or so you don't know who they are. But some of them you do, and just, you know, folks in the middle of America or middle of the UK or whatever, and certainly a bunch of them here in Thailand. Cool, man. And I love it when you guys comment, that I can comment back and forth on it. You know, some cool shit. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm starting to ramble. Again, thanks for watching, man. Keep watching, and yeah, let's do this tomorrow. Back in.